Hey, just yell at me if you need to. I think I'm gonna get some stuff ready.
I'm Lynn Storage. I'm girl for them.
Okay.
You did? Oh, well, give her money.
Okay.
I don't mind. I'm gonna take blood.
Okay.
Turn your knees all the way that way. Just drop.
I do.
Try.
Yeah, you can use it. Well, what's the name?
Snap. And just push your hand, push. Don't worry about catching. Just drag it down. Now come up, catch it.
Yeah, where your shoes at?
Sorry, please still go to the front. Look. So we put it down. Back here. So you can do it. Okay. Pull this out. Put this leg. Just keep. Snap it. Okay, now cradle it. Keep walking it back. Keep this hook under my, well, back towards my head. And we roll to your back. Keep this hook. Yep. Snap. So if they go down, stay down, push and push. Come on, catch it. Want to get over what's going on? Just step down. Also jump down on your knees. And I step. Right your head, right? Right?
Yep. I'm aware. No, never say that again. Lasagna? No. I'm not okay. Like that was like okay, you're not Audrey, Jordan's I don't have water. No, Jordan's not my water. I'm not gonna have water. I took it. Shut up. What happened? I want to know this. No, what happened? What's your general direction and stuff? It was really funny. No, I made fun of her. Audrey. Yeah, what's wrong with you? Ben.
No.
Okay, just not you. He doesn't count. Oh, I need to see. My mom's he's never gonna. Oh, look at that. The best info. More meetings. Okay. I just want this. Oh my god, wait, I do, like, I pick the so yes, I do, and yes. Huh? Swipe. I think you have, like, My own's moderate, not absolute practice. I'm on like absolute practice. Like medication. That's my friend David. Absolutely not. What? I don't even know what the question is. I got something, but it's like do it. And I got and shoot. Go. It's like heel boots. Y'all saw it on my story. Those ones. My mom won't let me. But she's letting me wear heels. But she's letting me wear heels. No, you mean this Omaha 2024? No, I'll be in the Olympic tournament. Just the advance.
Like four boys in here and I'm on it.
Wait, yeah, so we are. No, I said it. I was like,
A little easier to.
I wonder what.
Hey. Almost can't fully touch. Worry about that.
Okay, I really need.
You wanna go in there?
I'm kidding.
Anything here.
I'm sorry. Don't worry about it.
What's up, Rose? You back for more? Huh? You missed me last week, right? You want to get back in here and wrestle? Girl. Hey, we'll get going.
Coach came in.
Oh, this is okay. Yeah. I am very tall now.
What? Yeah.
Snuck up on you, huh?
And I just got it tomorrow. Yeah, Gabby, come on, Gabby, you got this. We weren't supposed to be there for Saturday. Yeah, weren't you? I thought they did it for an hour and I was gonna go. I've been kicked out of state, so how about that? Yeah, other handle stay. Okay, so there was, I didn't get a lot of so all of them That's Gabby. Hello. Scott, no wait, you're the one who wrestles the guys. Okay, no worries. Okay, so one of my friends,
Go.
So it's Scott gonna fight girls. Where you go? Or are they something? Wait,
Are
can
they
you give me water?
We have water in there.
Man, I don't know.
Yeah.
Take your mind out.
Oh no, they're actually.
Come on, Gabby. Come on, Gabby. Come on, Gabby.
Get up.
Get up. Get up. Get up. Yeah! Go, hit her. Come on, Gabby. Come on, Gabby.
Other way.
Other way, Gabby.
There you
Down,
go.
down.
Oh.
Oh, you're right.
Oh.
You guys good?
bloody nose.
Oh, fun. Okay.
All right, I think we'll get started here.
We have a bloody nose.
Good job, guys.
That's why we don't do that. All right.
Push. You gotta push.
She was beat herself in the face. Sit up for 15 minutes. Her nose would not stop. This is like watching. As soon as like you the wrong like
That exactly like that.
but that's like I call that
Hey, no more wrestling open. No more injuries before we get started here. All right, but hey, we will get started. We're a little bit behind. That's all right. Good to see everybody again this week.
I think there might be sweat / blood.
Is there? Okay, let's.
I can't tell if it's fun. It doesn't look red, but it's fine.
It's and we do thoroughly clean the mats and everything. I'm very proud. So don't worry, it's fresh sweat. We'll clean up afterwards. But hey, let's get going here. So the challenge for us every week, or for me anyway, is trying to fit a lot of information to a short amount of time, right? And so, especially as we keep adding stuff every week, I don't want to just like keep moving on and having you guys like learn a bunch of stuff but then not be able to remember it. So it's kind of a challenge to know what we're going to review, what we're going to introduce, and so that's kind of been something I've been trying to work on to make that all fit together. And I know we have some people that are probably new that haven't been here yet, some that have been kind of in and out, and so that's fine. Hey, look, any time on the mats is good for you, right? Whether it's if you can get here once or twice, or if you get here every week, any time is going to help you out when it comes down to it. Okay. And so, with that said, we'll get right into it, and then it'll be a little bit of a review, kind of mixture of some review, and then we'll add some stuff on too for you guys, all right? And if you weren't here and you missed, something and aren't sure, that's fine. We'll help you out. As a reminder, I'm Coach Murphy. I got Coach Steingraber here helping out, Coach Allen, Coach Darling here as well, and so got a good group here for you, and that's what we're here for, is to help you. So just if you have any questions, just let us know, right? It's the saying there's no dumb questions. Something like that. All right. And if it is, we won't judge it. We won't make fun of it if it is something silly. And so here's what we'll do. I think we'll start with a warm up. I think we'll do a little game. All right. Instead of just jogging and stretching, sometimes I like to do a game where we can kind of incorporate some of the wrestling into it. All right. And so what we're gonna do, we split you guys up into teams. We're gonna go old school dodgeball. Right. We'll have half over here, half over here. Okay. But here's the thing. So when you get hit, you're not just going to come stand in line, right, and wait to get back in or wait for a chill break. We'll have you come over here. We'll have some coaches to help. And what I'd like to take this opportunity is to review that skill we learned last week, the penetration drop step, okay? So if you get hit, you'll come over here, and then we'll have you practice 3 good penetration drop steps. And then once you do those, boom, you're back in the game, okay? And so I'll just give you a quick review. But again, I don't expect you guys to have that memorized or have that skill perfect. And so that's why we'll have some coaches over here to help you. And again, a penetration drop step, it's not a move. It's a skill that we use to kind of implement a lot of our moves, all right? And so the other thing is, well, I'll get to that in a minute. And so one thing I'm going to do, when we split you up in teams, I'll have the coaches come around and we have these ankle bands, you see, and they use those for matches to kind of help with scoring. But sometimes we use them when people are starting out to kind of remember what your lead leg is, right? So I'm a left lead leg. And so that'll be helpful when we do the penetration drop steps to know we want that foot in front. And so if you remember, we're in our good stance. I got my lead leg here. The penetration drop step, all it is I'm going to do, first thing I'm going to do is what? Level change, right? And that's just bending my knees. So I'm not bending my back. I don't want to be looking at the mat. I'm going to level change, and that's going to help me kind of load up on this back foot, which is going to help me push off to penetrate, right? And now I'm going to penetrate. This knee is going to go forward and hit the mat, right? And so very important. This knee won't hit the mat. And this foot won't hit the touch, won't step up until after this knee hits, all right? So remember, if you guys remember, it looks something like this. Level change, I'm going to shoot forward, penetrate. Now I step up, but now I got to get that ankle band back in front so I'm back in my good position with the same lead leg, okay? Yeah. What's that? Do you have to get hit knee below?
When you get hit.
Oh, knee below. Hey, yeah, just since we have the little kids in here, let's go below the waist. Just keep it safe, all right? So feet and legs. Otherwise, it's kind of hard to gauge, right? So yeah, we'll go below the waist are the only ones that count. But otherwise, you catch the ball. She's not worried about the penetration drop step. She's trying to get the dodgeball rules down. But otherwise, it's just normal. You catch the ball if there's a headshot. And so here's the other thing I'll say, and we'll work with you on this, is when we're practicing these, right? One of the reasons we use this skill is to get low, to go in and grab somebody's legs, right? So you want to try to be able to do it as best you can without touching the mat. So that means I have to keep my balance. It's not going to do me good if I practice these to do this every time, right? Because that's not going to be functional in a match. The other thing is, whenever we're attacking in wrestling, almost all the time, we want to have hips in, back straight, head up. All right, so what that means, I want to practice that way as I come in here and penetrate. Watch, I want to keep my chest up, my head up here, okay? And so just try to keep that in mind. I don't want to go here, and go down like this, okay? So just something I'll point out real quick. I will start splitting up the teams here. Doesn't have to be, even, right? Because you're just going to be in and out. And then if you guys want to both grab a handful of hopefully we have enough. We're going to have enough ankle bands. Once you get your ankle band, just go ahead and get your wrestling stance. And then whatever foot you have for it, if you're right or left, just put that ankle band on. We'll just keep those on for the rest of the practice to kind of help us out to keep track of that lead leg. All right, why don't we have everybody from here over go on that wall. Then I'll split up a little bit. I know there's more over here now, but I'll split them a little bit over here. Hey, Emmy, what's up? I like that hair. So, Emmy, why don't you go over on this wall and split the little one so you guys don't get slaughtered.
I'm just gonna throw on my ankle.
Maybe, you want to go over on that side too?
It barely does. I played basketball gymnastics for 8 years.
Did.
So that
I
happened.
did find the workout. It's just about 5 minutes ago, actually. All right, so once you're on the side, go ahead and back up against the wall. Hey, we'll just go for about 5 minutes here, maybe a little more, a little less. We'll see how it goes. And everybody got that on there? Okay, good. And then, like I said, if you get hit, just come over here. We're going to work on that penetration drop. That way we'll kind of get that practice out of the way. Save us some time a little later. All right, yeah, remember, let's just go below the waist. Sometimes we mix big kids and little kids. We have a lot of little kids getting their heads blasted. So aim for the legs, aim for the feet. All right, ready and begin. Here we go, here we go.
Look at us. Why am I giving one? You know what? This is not fair. My legs are longer than yours. Like perfectly bigger.
Now, sorry.
This is why I didn't make a volleyball team.
You know, it feels weird going to the front, right? You gotta get your instincts so you can.
Mercy, mercy.
I know, I've been cheating so much change for him.
I'm sorry. I didn't mean that.
There we go, keep throwing them. Those Irish are about a lot of balls out here, huh? Let's go, Joel.
Good, how are you?
Good to see you, man. I need to email you a date to see if you can come up here and do a weigh-in. We're doing a satellite weigh-in, so we have to have certified rep.
Thank you.
Oh, really?
I will be.
You probably won't check.
I just haven't done it yet. I should do that tonight.
What does that entail? Oh, really? Since you're already done it, you don't have to like.
Yeah, I gotta take a class, but it's not November.
Okay, now there's two of them. It's fine.
Sure, it'll be coming up.
Heard of Martha.
Keep throwing them, keep moving. Oh. Hey, if it's getting way off balance, you guys can just jump over their side, help them out, right? So you feel bad, everybody throwing at the little girls. Yeah, we'll go one more minute here. One more minute.
They're all going for me. What?
And 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Time. Hey, you guys just want to roll the balls down here? We're gonna pick it up. Just roll them down off the mat.
Oh.
Hey, raise your hands. Did anybody knock it out and do a penetration drop step? If you didn't, come over here. Let's just get 3 in so we can make sure and practice. Everyone else, let's take a minute to get a drink, go to the bathroom, and then I'll give you 2 or 3 minutes to stretch out on your own. You're the only one. Yeah. Do you remember this one? Okay. All right. We'll see. 3 times. Okay, so start. Just start your stance. And then good. Make sure your level change. Good. You're kind of like, here's the thing we want to share. This into it. We want to go down and then kind of like up. You're going to get low. So I don't just want to.
Yeah, we have the same like size feet. Like.
So Howard's gonna be in the hip, right?
I can do it on one side. That's not okay.
There you go. All right, this one. Good work.
Jeez,
Eddie. What the heck? That's starting to, that's kind of look at making money. It's flexible.
Oh, yeah.
And you're basically saying that there is
Oh, yeah.
other your, I mean,
Right, that's
roll
your-
their shoulders.
It's got those cups up there. Anybody can try. Oh, it is? Sorry.
There another one over there?
Yeah.
I wonder.
Got it?
Stop.
Let me get it.
Okay, the Audrey's fault. Oh my God. Girl, face the mask.
Not the little green part off. Yeah, that's just like a little cut and like a
Okay.
little peel off.
Wait. Yes.
Why did they have a problem?
What? What was that from? Yeah, she's just trying to. Oh, well, you missed Gabby.
Get a good stretch in, shoulders, back,
What's your name? Sophia. Okay, Sophia.
legs back. Good stretch.
No, you're fun.
No, it's weird. No.
No, wait, who wanted to say remove you? I felt. Oh, yeah, I was like,
No, she's
Relax.
Put your toes. Oh, sit on your feet.
Another 30 seconds or so, get whatever else you need, and then we'll start off
I know, right?
right away. We're going to go with some stance in motion.
It's fine. You did it when you were 4, so you're.
Oh, yeah, I mean,
Okay, let me pull it first. Yeah, and I get mine in 2 weeks.
All right, guys, good?
Yeah.
All right, let's go. Let's get going. So go ahead and spread out. We don't need a partner for this first part, right? We're going to practice moving around in our stance. We call that motion, right? Remember, really important. And make sure you guys pay attention when I talk, okay? Really important that we're not crossing our feet, right? And that's the most important. Don't cross. But even I don't even want them even getting close, closer to the shoulder width, right? So I'm moving. It's here. They both move. It's not step. Okay, it's short, little choppy steps. And forward, same thing. Not walking. Steps. Right here. So they stay wide. Keep that lead leg the whole time. Now we've talked about a couple of skills, right? That we can mix in while we do this. I think week 1 we talked about level change, which is really easy. That's this right here. Just like we just kind of practiced with our penetration drop sets. Okay, you can drop a hand if you want to. I think we added sprawl the second week. So again, a sprawl will be where I kick my feet out, and I'm really trying to visualize somebody trying to grab my legs. I'm trying to smash them with my hips. Okay, and then when we practice this without a partner, we circle back up to our feet. And the other really important thing is when I kick those feet out, they're wide, okay? So if I'm doing my stance motion, I want to hit sprawl. It's boom, here, circle, back behind my stance, make sure that ankle lands out front. And then also penetration drop step, like we put in last week, okay? So
the bigger ones
you can be moving around, and if you want to practice those, you'll just level change, drive off this back leg, boom, here, step up, and then you'll be right moving again, okay? Simple enough, right? And look, I always tell our kids, you don't worry about doing all those skills. If you want to mix those in, fine. But don't think you just got to be doing sprawl, penetration step, over, right? You can just do 3 or 4 of those the whole 45 seconds that we do this, and that's fine, okay? The main thing really is getting used to the footwork, changing direction. Even I'm tripping here on the mat, right? Circling, keeping our feet wide with those short little steps, okay? So we got plenty of room spread out. We'll, like I said, I think maybe a minute. 45 seconds goes pretty quick, okay? Now remember our good position. Feet are wide, lead leg, right? I gotta get low, bend those knees. I wanna get my head out front, right? And get my chest so they feel I don't let them read your shirt. So I'm here, and then my hands are out front. Okay, this is how we should be when we're moving. All right. All right, let's give it a shot. We'll go for 1 minute. Ready, go. Change the direction. Circle in right, circle in left.
So, let's stand. Yes. Pull off wide. Wide. Get your chest down. You don't want to reach your shoulder. Okay. Shoulder moves. You don't want everyone to cross or kind of close.
Good, hey, circle in different directions. Circle back up off your scroll, circle in your stance. Keep going. Got 25 seconds, stay low. Why are we stay low. Hey, focus. There you go, get those feet moving around. Hey, I remember you. Wildcat, right? Good to see you here. Good, 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 good. Those hands out. Yeah, good. Hey, that's pretty good. Girls, all right? Time. Hey, that looks actually pretty good. It seems like every week I keep saying about. I underestimate you guys every time, but I'll learn here. Doing that smart, capable young women, right? All right. So listen, I'm used to dealing with boys. You know, that takes a little longer for this stuff to sink in on them. So this is a nice and refreshing. And so next thing we're gonna do, quick review on some hand fighting, okay? So if you guys remember, does anybody remember, my little hand fighting speeches on why that's important, why we use that? Well, what's the reason I would use hand fighting for wrestling? Yeah, you can't remember. If you need, you were about to say something. Anybody have a guess? Yeah, to get control. And so, if you remember, whenever I'm going to try to do a takedown, right, attack, there's three parts to it. There's the setup, the attack, and the finish. So usually my hand fighting is be part of my setup. All right, because I need to get my opponent out of position while I stay in good position to do my attack, right? So that's what we've talked about, getting wrist control, right? I can grab these wrists and do something like this to get a leg. We talked about inside control, where we can have double bicep, right? Whenever I build bicep, I got lots of options. I can push him, pull him, push, pull circle, come underneath, get a leg. And then the last one we talked about inside control was head and bicep, right? So similar, but now I'm going to have one hand here around the neck, elbow pointed down, right? Same thing, I can push, pull, circle, push, snap hard in that front headlock, right? So that's why we use this as hand fighting, okay? I'm not going to add any more than those three right now, just wrist control, double bicep, head and bicep. And really, if you can get those, that's where you can do a lot of setups just from right there, right? There's some other advanced ones we get to down the line, but maybe we'll have those a couple weeks down the road. But let's get a partner and go ahead and get a partner, then I'll explain how we're going to do this. Why don't you go ahead?
Well, you can show.
You guys want to go with this? Okay, listen up. Here's what we're doing. Hey, here's how we're going to do this, okay? Now, I'll repeat myself. Everything we do, it's about position. Stay in a good position, right? Doesn't matter, what I'm doing up here. If I'm standing up tall, my back is straight. So it's all going to be down in this good position. So we'll just work with our partner, and we're just going to hand fight together just about 50%, okay? So not super hard. Just kind of working on getting each other's wrists, getting our biceps, moving our feet, pushing, pulling. But we're not going crazy. He does get me a little bit. I get him. But we're just kind of practicing, staying in our good stance, moving each other around nice and easy. 50%, okay? And then what we'll do is we'll do that for about 30 seconds. But then I think I'll grab the whistle here. When I hit the whistle, then it's going to be live hand fighting, okay? So live means basically 100%, but hand fighting means I'm not trying to take him down. All we're going to do is we're being kind of nice there. Now we're really going to be snapping, pushing, and pulling, trying to knock each other over, basically trying to get each other out of good position, which would mean our feet are crossing, our head is down, our head is up, right? We're getting moved around. Does that make sense? So 30 seconds, just nice and easy, moving each other here, and then when you hear the whistle, boom, that one's really pulling, pushing. If you can knock them on their butt, snap them on their face, that's all fine. When it's live, it's live, 100% like fight. Okay, let's give it a try, see how it looks. So go ahead and begin, nice and easy, just working with each other. Moving your feet. Go ahead and get wrists. Get those wrists a little bit. Good. Push in, pull in. Coming inside. There you go, good. It's your turn. You don't want that. You gotta say low, make sure. Good. And you can start moving your feet while you do a little bit. And go. Oh, my whistle's broke. Go, slide. Man, there we go, go. That's loud. That was the whistle, sorry. My battery is hanging out. You slide, you push, you're pulling, you're snapping. No attacks, though. No leg attacks, just moving them. Get them stumbling all over the place. Get them tripping over their own feet. And time. Good job. Okay, we'll do one more of those. Grab a new partner, find somebody else. We're just going to switch it up. Can you kind of keep it? I want to make sure that just keep these. Yeah, you guys are good. Everybody got anyone? We'll do one more of those. Hey, that looked good. I like the intensity when it's time to go live. That's what we're looking for. Okay. Yeah, you can win a lot of wrestling matches when you're starting out, just being aggressive. So same thing, 30 seconds. Remember, it's nice and easy that first 30 seconds. I'm fighting for inside control and wrist, but I'm also really paying a lot of attention to keeping my feet wide and using my good motion. Okay, staying low. And when it's live, same thing, but now I'm going, 100%, which makes it even harder sometimes to stay in our stance because our instincts kind of take over, and then we're like, oh, I'm gonna get this person, but now I'm out of position. So we gotta get used to going, I'm gonna get this person, but I'm still staying low, right? All right, let's go for about 30 seconds. Go ahead and start, nice and easy. Nice and easy, just moving each other around, working together.
Make sure one thing is when you're in stance, you want to stay squared up, overreach, snap your head down. So you want to keep the base on. Yeah, but if she takes a step back, you want to make sure you follow and don't just keep your feet.
And now banging a little bit, pushing, pulling, get aggressive here. But staying low, keeping our feet wide. Get lower, girls, get those feet wide. There we go. That's your guys' advantage, being that length, right? The more you stand up, the more you're taking that away. Get those legs back, get that head out. Move those legs far away from you. Yeah, there we go. That's how you guys want to wrestle right there. You're going to get people fit with that length. Hard to do the wrestle. Real tall. And okay, hey, before we get a quick drink, same partner. Now we're just gonna do one takedown, right? Then like it's overtime. You get tied up, sudden death. One takedown wins the match. Okay. I know we haven't learned a lot of takedowns. I think we went over a front headlock, go behind it. Remember that, getting the chin and arm. And some of you guys have kind of caught on to like a leg attack, right? Like a double leg. It's just kind of like a football tackle. But like I said, just be aggressive. And hey, you can score points just from that hand fighting, pushing, pulling, getting them off, snapping, getting around behind. Remember, a takedown is getting control of our opponent. Usually that means I'm behind them and on top. All right? The exception would be if I'm on top and they're on their back. Okay? I'm not going to get too into the weeds with it, but we'll help you out. If you got to keep wrestling, there's already a takedown. We'll tell you you need to get grab a drink. Okay? So get your partners, get set, your good stance. Get ready.
Hey, why don't you take this?
Good. Now remember, you got the ankle band. You gotta look down, see that right knee leg, right? So if you like that right leg, you don't want to change it.
I am.
Oh, okay. Okay, whatever, that works. You guys just take put that on your knee, leg, ankle. But that'll also help you when you're moving around to make sure that's like you want to keep it front. All right, here we go. Hey, it's on your own. Just shake hands and then begin. It's live. Just one takedown, then go grab your drink. Sudden death here.
Keep driving.
Well, I think I would have first. Just
Ryan. Oh, did she go for the knee thing? Dirty sister? Oh, we still got
Go forward, kids. Go forward. Yeah, keep driving forward. Going forward, you're going. Don't let her get those legs in.
Okay, we'll call that too. Oh, D9.
Why don't you take up
Man.
That's like what I'm trying to do.
Got it. Gotta go to the bathroom, go ahead and take care of that. Otherwise, grab your partners and spread out. We'll go over, gonna add a new takedown here tonight.
Oh, God.
To work with. So find somebody close to your size. Spread out, find a black little small black circle. You guys ready? Your girls, if your girls need to take a break, that's fine. You can watch. Keep it chill. Keep it chill here. It's open room. All right. But if you do have your partner, listen up. Let's get back on track here. So we're gonna introduce a new takedown. Actually, I want to introduce that double leg takedown tonight. Okay. So now that we kind of have our that penetration drop step down, we'll talk about where we want to end up. How we can set that up, how we can get into our attack, and then we'll go into the finish. Right. The finish is the most important part. That's where we get our points. All right. And there's lots of different setups. There's actually quite a few different types of double legs, and then there's also quite a few types of finishes. Okay, and so I'm just going to kind of keep it simple, basic with a traditional one. Okay, with the tackle finish. And so as we talked about, so coach is just like one of these dummies here. He's just kind of like this. Go up your arms out, and just like we were practicing now, that penetration drop step. This is kind of what it looked like, right? I'm level change. Make sure I'm close enough to touch. I'm on a level change, and now as I penetrate into my opponent, push it off, I want my knee to kind of land somewhere between his feet, probably closer to the heel, the better. But what I really, really want to focus on is taking my shoulder, right, and trying to aim kind of right underneath his belly button here, okay? And so what that'll do is that's going to help me focus on keeping that chest up. Because when I get to this point here, as much as possible, I want to have what we call a power line between my knee, my hip, my shoulder. I want them to be as straight as possible. The more it's like this, the more my opponent is going to have a chance to counter, okay? And that's why the penetration is so important. Because if I do this, even if I want to get my shoulder to underneath his belly button, if my knee lands out here, it's kind of like a brake, right? It's going to hit, it's going to stop my momentum, and my body's going to kind of have to lean forward. So I really got to come in. And so I was talking to someone earlier about when we're practicing penetration drop sets. We want to make sure we're not going like this, nose diving into our attack. We want to get low with level change. And then it's kind of like an airplane. Or think of a check mark. Down, and then up into them. Okay, and so coach is here, I come level change here, and then when I come to attack, it's here. So I'm trying to bring my hips underneath me, right? Shoulder underneath the belly button. My head goes on the outside. I'm gonna wrap around the back with both legs here on the knees, right? I'm not grabbing the hips. I'm not all over the place here. I'm gonna wrap around both for right now. Trail leg stays back here for now. We'll go over that in a second on the finish. Okay? So this is where I want to end up. Right here. Let's get, before we add the setup, I want to practice that part with our partner. We'll just go, 4 or 5 each to kind of get that down, going low, and then driving into it, right? And so again, head is on the outside. Okay, my knee is going to be somewhere here briefly, but I really want my chest and everything underneath. If I'm here, I did something wrong. I'm going to have a hard time finishing against a good wrestler. So that's going to be the challenge for you guys, is to go here and then kind of keep that head and chest up as I end up in this spot here. Okay, and then we'll talk about how we're going to get the setup, and then we'll finish with the finish. So you guys got your partners. We'll just go back and forth. So one wrestler, if you're the partner, you don't have to get real low in your stance. That's going to be real hard to practice this right now. Just kind of do something like this. Act like you're one of those dummies over there. Got those hands out. Just kind of here to give them targets, okay? And we'll help you out. But go ahead and just go back and forth. Each person do about 4 or 5 of those. So you just go like this for now. That's all you have to do. It's easy. So don't overthink it here. You're gonna level change. Just kind of think about where everything's going. This, your head's gonna come on this hip, right? So you'll level change it. Don't worry about all that other stuff I talked about. You just want to make sure your shoulders about up here, and your knees about between the feet. Just level change. Yeah. And so no. So you're gonna try not to let that knee hit the mat. This knee. Yep. So the level change, hit that one, and then remember, round back to the legs. Right there. There you go. Good. Don't put down. We just want to practice getting to that point right now. All right. And so so same thing. Just here, and it's going to follow that front knee, and then your head's going to go out on this side. You guys need help? Oh. That's pretty good. So one thing that's going to help you is kind of here get in go square. Also, we talked about toe-to-toe. Right there. I'm going to be trying to come around. So you want to right? So I kind of want to here, and then everything kind of falls in place. Okay. Yeah. Now let's go ahead. There you go. Yeah, that's good. Good. Like, just keep doing it. Just lots of reps. Come on, guys. Yep.
Do you want to try one time?
My girls too. Yeah, you like that. And we'll have go like that. That's what you want to do is wrap.
Whatever you
Drop.
One thing though.
Wait, show me again.
Right there. Look, forehead. That's why you got to drop. You're fine. It's just because you're flare out here when you're dropping.
All right, listen up. Let's keep moving here. Those look really good, actually. I continue to be impressed. You guys picked that up really quick. So look, we went a little bit out of order, right? Because that was the attack. We kind of skipped the setup part. So now we're going to go back and talk about, because the coach is in a good position. Those hands are down. get down here nice and low. If I just come here and do this, well, now I'm not going to get to those legs, right? So that's where our hand fighting comes in. All right, so one of the more basic ones to start with, just kind of help, is just called, I'll give you two options, right? We go either a post or a chop. All right, so when I would do this actually is when my opponent has inside control. So coach has double biceps on me, maybe we've been hand fighting, but I just can't keep them off my arms. I'm going to clear those arms now with either a chop or a post. Now, as I do the chop or the post, I'm also going to level change. Okay, so if you grab my arms and I chop, it's going to be here. If I post, it's a little kid's hands up, eyes down. All right, and so I'm going to be changing levels at the same time. What I'm not doing is this and then trying to come back down. Because by the time I come back down, he's going to be back in his stance. I lost my opportunity, okay? And so here's what it would look like. So coach comes in, he gets double biceps. We've been hand fighting. I'm not having any luck. So I'm going to time this. Now, when I chop, it's not a big, hey, I'm not trying to break any bricks or anything like that, right? I just need a couple inches just to clear those things, okay? Now, I want to go below the elbow on the chop. And on the post, I'm going to go above the elbow, okay? And so if I'm up here, it might not be as effective, right? He's still strong. And so for the chop, it's just right below the elbow. And again, it's just a quick here. But now you can see, now I have my entry to come in on my attack. On the post, instead of chopping, it's going to be post. Now, again, this is something we spend a lot more time, in a practice going over. But for the post, again, I don't want to, you guys are going to figure out. I'm used to teaching the little ones how to hold their hands. I just call it like an upside down or a U, right? And so I'm going to put my palm to the ceiling and my pinky out towards my opponent. And that's my post. Okay, can everybody do that? See who's got it? That's not rocket science, is it? All right, good. Man, tell you what. And so, again, I want to go right above the elbow on this. If I go below the elbow, his arm can bend and he can still come down and block it, right? Same thing, though. I don't need to get his hands through the ceiling. I just need to just clear him enough so now that I can penetrate into that good double leg attack, right? Okay, so we'll practice that back and forth a couple times. But the partner needs to remember each time they're going to come and attack double bicep. And now I need to figure out, get my attack, am I going to chop level change? Or I can just go post level change. Just a preference. There's not one that's better than the other. And so that just clears my path of entry now. I can go in on the legs. That makes sense? So we've got to set up our attack. Let's go a minute or two practicing that back and forth. And then, like I said, we'll get to the most important part, the finish. Okay, and so for right now, I want you guys to really make an effort to leave the trail leg back behind. What I mean by that is, when I come in, I'm going to be here, and this leg's still going to kind of be back here. So don't start coming up here and doing this yet, because we're going to talk about that next. Okay? All right, let's give it a shot. We haven't done the back. 1, 2. Yeah.
Yeah, but if you're on the outside, now yours is like, if it's on the inside, you can do it, but inside you have no control. But you can kick the arms out. This is mainly for outside. When you're on the outside, if you're not inside at all, that's what this is for.
And you know what? You really like
One motion.
I know right now. Start training. You're probably not gonna hit that knee. Realistically, you're just gonna train your class like that. Just practice like that. The only difference is instead of hitting the knee, you're just gonna take a step.
You're right.
That's more. Like that's what I did when I expressed. Like everybody has their movements, but just do that. That's more functional.
You're just pushing it up and dropping it that way. Your hands are getting away. So don't feel the job. Yeah, it doesn't have to be where you're just throwing your hands. Okay. You want them off the shoulders to create that separation. When you're going, you're changing levels. All you're doing is making sure her hands aren't going with
No, not up here. And as those hands go off your arms, right, you're here. And now I feel you're ready to go into your tap. There you go. Good.
I mean, it's exactly, you're
Just slow down.
chopping. You're trying to create the separation.
Grab her up. So, same thing. Just get ready to do a little chop. Just right here, right? At the same time as you do that, you
That's, yeah.
change the level.
But
And
the
once you
chop
clear
is
on your
more,
arms, then you're ready to go in. Here's what I would recommend to help you
a
out.
lot of people do the chop, but
You guys have opposite legs. Now you take a step in the middle. Yeah, and now you're back a little closer to chops. Good. Yeah. That's what you do. Lots of reps, lots of reps. Good. Good job. Good job.
Okay, so. Do the karate chop. You good?
Good job. Those look good.
So you could shut that. Okay, I do it one more time.
Yeah.
I do it every time. Yeah, down, like, and you're like,
Make sure you're trying both of them, shows and chops. You don't remember. So make sure you come grab her. I want her to get the arm. There you go. Good. Good. Hey, that's time. Let's keep moving here so we don't run out of time. I want to get the whole move in here. And plus, you guys are killing it anyway. So, but not to say like if this was like, we had like no practice a week and we were, we would spend, because really with all of these techniques, guys, in any sport, right? You got to know reps. Okay, and so it's one thing to do this with our partner who's letting us. It's a whole different thing when somebody's grabbing you, pushing, pulling, snapping, right? And so that's why the more you can get these reps in, the more you're going to be comfortable to do it in a match or a live situation. But anyway, let's fast forward now and get to the finish, okay? And so like I said, this is going to be a tackle finish. And so just like in football, right? I'm going to stay low. I'm going to keep running my feet. And then we do something called a flare at the end. I think we start calling the tackle flare finish so people understand that too. But I'm going to break that down a little bit here for you because this is really important. Now, one thing I think that's going to help some of you guys out, and I pointed out to some of the girls that I was coming around, this is like maybe a little high level, but I think you guys can figure it out, is if me and my opponent are lined up here, right, what I'm seeing some of you guys do is you're kind of way out here, and then you're coming in, and you're kind of like this, right? You're kind of sideways, right? And what I really want to be is here, okay? And so we talk about splitting our opponent half wrestler. We actually call it half man, but I'm going to change it to half wrestler now. That we got to be more inclusive. So what that means is if we're toe to toe here, right, or even kind of like this, it's going to be a long way for me to get that what we call turning the corner. Okay, so instead of doing that, when I go to attack, I'm going to try to get here and split him down the middle. Now, as I come in, everything lines up where it's supposed to be, instead of me coming just from a couple inches over. And now I have a long way to go to get around this corner that I'm going to want to finish from. Okay, so that's one thing I'll point out that might help you. If you're taking that attack, don't be toe to toe. Try to move your feet to get half wrestler, and now you'll be lined up better to finish, okay? Now here's the big one, okay, is that for this finish, I want everyone to get to their feet and run it, okay? And so we talked to the little kids about not trying to hug them down. So we'll have kids that get in here, and they get here, and they're just trying to squeeze this wrestler down and just pull them down from here, and that's not going to work, against the better wrestlers. You're gonna have to get to your feet and do what we call running, right? And so I'm gonna take an angle by turning the corner. So that would look like this. I'm in here, post, attack. Now we're gonna get the trail leg involved, right? I'm gonna step my foot kind of even with my opponent's foot, but out here, probably about a good 2 feet or so. All right, not super far, but not super close. But I'm gonna step here, and this is gonna allow me to run it, okay? Now, when I do this, some people think what makes sense is I'm gonna tackle them to coach there, right? Straight back, but that's not it. I'm gonna be tackling towards my girl Emmy there, in the pink shorts, right? And so what that would look like is here, and now I'm driving off of this and going that way. So I'm running forward faster than they're going to be able to run sideways, and I'm taking all their hips out of the equation. That's where their strength in the defense is. If I get stuck underneath those, now they can go around behind me, okay? And so I'm going to come up to my feet. I'm going to try to keep my hips in back straight, head up, and I'm going to run it, okay? And now as I mentioned something called a flare. What that means is once I start running, I turn this corner, and I'm using my head. We're talking about trying to read the back of their shirt. That helps us, okay? As I start running, they start falling over. The flare is I'm going to pull those legs out kind of like to the side here. Okay, I want to land in something kind of like a T position or an L position, right? I don't want to land right on top of them. Okay, so it would look something like this. This is kind of hard to go slow with it, but here, I step, I'm going to drive. Remember, I'm using my head to try to read the back of the shirt at the same time. I'm running towards Emmy there, run, and as we go to fall, pulling those legs out, trying to land chest to chest, or, if they belly out, get control that way. Okay.
When you said running, what do you mean by running?
Okay, that's a good question. So it would look like this. Like when we practice our penetration drop steps, for right now, you guys are learning it. So we're fine with you going straight. But once you guys really start learning it, here's what we'd have you do. We'd have you go here, here, here. So that's what I mean by running it. I'm going to come up, but now I don't want to come up and be here. I'm going to come up, and I'm still going to be hips in, back straight, head up. But now I'm going to start taking short steps this way, and as I fall, I'm pulling out the legs. I might show on the dummy. What's that? Okay, and so that'll take a little time to get used to, but there's a couple reasons for that. If I just fall right on top of coach without doing that, he can use my momentum and just roll on top of me. You know what I'm talking about? So if I just come here, go here, and I roll, he can roll right on top of me, right? Because I didn't pull his legs out. The other thing is, I'm not going to have him demonstrate, but as we fell there, if he had a knee up, right, I'm going to catch that in the stomach or somewhere even worse, possibly, right? Charlie horse, you know what I'm talking about. But anyway, you don't want to fall on those knees, right? So if I just go straight into them without clearing those out on the tackle, that could be painful. But the biggest one is I want to get control and complete the takedown points. I don't want to fall and just be in this scramble or rolling around. So again, we're in here, coach grab. Shot. 1, 2, 3. Pull those legs out the best I can. It's not always going to be pretty or perfect, but we want to have that idea of flaring the legs as we run. Step. Now remember, I'm not going this way. I get to my feet. I'm running towards now Coach Darling there. Boom. Okay. So make sure we spread out for this because we're going to be running around. We want people to follow each other.
Coach is not lifting his legs.
Listen up.
Hey, listen.
He's not lifting his legs. I'm going to order him lift his legs. He's driving his head, which makes that leg come off the ground. You're going to lift it, but you're using your head to push him, and that leg will get light. Don't just try to pull, because you're never going to pull his leg off the ground. You have to push, and then lift it when you go.
They go hand in hand because sometimes we get kids that just get in there and they just want to stand up and flare the legs without running. And that's not going to work. We got to be moving. They go hand in hand. And like Coach was saying, I just kind of briefly mentioned it. I talked about trying to read back her shirt. I'm really using this head and neck the whole time, trying to keep that angle. If I end up right here, things are going back. Now he's going to suck me and sprawl and all sorts of. I need to say here, on the side. Okay. Keep turning. Let's give it a try. We'll watch it. We'll see if there's anything we need to touch on after that. Just be careful. Watch your space. Go ahead and start. We'll get a drink after this.
You look at me. Right foot. This way, 14. Use your hands.
Show up. Yep, run towards the door. Good, that's the angle. So you can see, it started off, she was going, and then as it got, kind of got in front of you, it got a little harder. So if that even happens, you're here, and all of a sudden you go, where are you? Yeah, so make sure you're turning the corner. You want to go fast. You're kind of here, to here, and then, yeah. You want to have that angle. So you're kind of here, and then you That's our run towards the board.
Now, your leg has to come up. You're there. You're there. Don't think you don't have it. You have it. Pick this up and look that way. Clear it. Your knee. Okay. Just wait for the wall. Okay. And this side. Yep. And you almost bring your back foot forward. Step. What you've been doing in one. Bring the foot up. And clear back behind your back. Don't be afraid to. Don't be afraid to grab.
Good. Can't get up. Right. Good. There you go. That's pretty good.
Oh yeah. Okay. And you're like Coach said, you're up on the hips. You're gonna have that run towards me. You're gonna be down there. Like that.
That's the angle you want to go. That's good. Let's try to wear it first. Go run towards me.
Don't just slide down. You're there. All you gotta do is now turn that corner.
There you go. Step up. There you go. Good. Keep coming around. That's good. The only thing is if she would grab you and roll. So you don't want to try not to land.
And you're just kind of cleaning. You're there. That's the running part. If they're falling away, you can just keep. Go run.
So as you go down, that's what we talk about. I want to try to bring those legs out a little bit so we can end up kind of like a T or an L. Okay, this stuff takes a lot of time. Trust me, this is. There, step up. Because that was better. Even if you just have to circle your legs out on it, you don't have to do that whole thing. That was good. That was better. You got the idea.
Oh, okay.
Good? Yeah.
I think I'd like
Well, you're trying to be nice.
That didn't hurt.
You're up here. You're trying to lift the legs up here. Let your voice out. Down. We're gonna you can get the angle, you can get the angle, but you can't be down here. So you're right there, right wrapped around the calf.
Hey, that's time. Let's take a little break. We'll finish it out here. That looks pretty good. Got some bigger now. Not bad though. Yeah. Well, you feel nervous and don't understand. Like, you really have to use the.
You're gonna drive her this side. So you guys want to collapse that knee. Yep, lift that one up.
There you go. Keep using. Keep trying to get out. It's kind of tough to go. So we'll just cover one more thing here, and then we'll probably go a little live match. Probably good.
You're gonna get so tough.
Doing good. Did you run today? You did? Fun? Nice day for it. The Carter runs you? Who's fastest? Carter? You? That's good job. Was it a long race? Pretty far. When your legs are that small, 1.2 miles is like 5 miles. Hey, let's finish up here. We only got about 10 minutes left, but I want to cover one more thing here since we're kind of in the, since it kind of fits in. I was actually going to go back to referee's position tonight, but I think I'm going to switch that. We'll get back on that next week, okay? So what I thought we'd cover, since we don't have enough time to really get started on what I was going to do with referees, we kind of learned the sprawl right from just space, but I kind of want to put that in all together now with somebody actually attacking us so we can kind of see what that's like. Now here's the thing I'll mention is there's 3 lines of defense we talk about, okay? The first one is my head, and that's why it's important that even some people are like, okay, I'm in a good stance, I love everything like this, but they got this kind of like, I call it giraffe neck, right? And I'm taking my first line of defense out of the way. Okay, so that's why I talk about putting my chest down and don't let it reach my shirt, because that helps me go here and get that head in the way. There's a world championships back here. If you watch some of these guys wrestle, I mean, just to get past their head defense is like a major thing. Right? So that's why I want to have my head out there in front. Okay, the second one is, some people say hands or arms. You get the point, but my hands and my arms. That's why that's why I teach wrestlers not to be walking around like this. Some of them start with their stance, and they have their hands up by their face. And they're leaving all this open, okay? I want my head in front, and I want these hands and arms out. As much stuff as I get in the way between my opponent and my leg, pretty much, right? Because that's what I know one of the main attacks is. So head, hands, and arms. We talked about doing something called a down block if somebody's trying to grab us. And so what we talk about is our sprawl is like our emergency backup plan. If we're doing those other things right in our good position, we shouldn't have to sprawl. But the goal is for them not to get to our legs. But, of course, we're going to wrestle with talented people that are going to set us up and get there. And so that's when our sprawl comes in, okay? And so, like I said, I'm going to kick those feet out, and I'm going to try to smash my opponent with my hips. But we kind of talk about 3 S's, okay? Stuff, sprawl, separate, score. Stuff, sprawl, separate, score. Okay, so the first one might be the most important, the stuff. And what that means is I need to stuff my opponent's head. If coach is in, coach has to brace himself because he's about to get the beef put on him, right? But if he's here, sooner or later, he's got this angle, I'm going to lose this fight. If I sprawl right here against a good wrestler, I'm pretty much toast. I sprawl, he's known to stay in there and finish. You got the angle, and he's already can just come in and tackle me, right? And so I don't want to sprawl while that head is on the outside. I want to stuff that head down, okay? And all I'm doing for that is hand on the back of the neck. I'm just going to have to stuff it here. Now that's going to happen at the same time I'll be doing my sprawl. So it's going to be a stuff and sprawl at the same time. But I want my hips basically kind of lined up with his, what are these called? Shoulder blades, right? Thought there was a more
Scapula.
Thought there was a more technical name. There you go. But yeah, his shoulder blades, right? And so I'm going to try to line that up there. And so stuff, sprawl, I'm getting my hips heavy here. Okay, I talk about maybe my belt buckle on the back of his neck. Sometimes that helps people understand. But my feet are wide and my chest is up, almost like I'm skydiving. Okay, you ready, Coach?
Yeah.
All right, here comes the thunder. All right, so stuff, and I'm also gonna kind of, you don't have to circle, but I kind of just automatically kind of circle when I do. We don't have to. But I'm stuffing, sprawling. And see, I'm right here now. His world just got a lot different than it was 10 seconds ago. He was in on a great shot. Now he's got a Big Daddy laying on him, and there's nowhere to go. He's gonna be in trouble. Okay, and so you gotta stuff that head. If I'd have done that without the head, he would have scored. Gotta stuff and get that head pressure down. So now, the coach is tough. He's not giving up. He don't care that sprawl. He's still got the legs, right? And so, go ahead and grab both. That's where that third S comes in. A lot of times against a good wrestler now, if I just start messing around here, they're still going to keep building up, get an angle, and score on me. So now I need to separate, okay? One way that I can do that is kind of with a V block, pushing off these hips. Because I don't want my chest and everything up here so much, right? Now I'm too high. Again, I want to be kind of here so he can't keep a hold of my legs, right? So really hold on a little bit, Coach. And to do that, I sprawl, I stuff, and I'm going to separate, going to walk my toes back. Now I'm in a much better position. And what I'm going to have to do against a good wrestler probably is go to my front headlock here, where I'll go chin, arm, and start working my offense from there for a go behind. For the purpose of tonight in this drill, we'll just go to our go behind from here. Once I separate and I feel those hands come off my hamstrings, we'll just get on our toes and circle around for the takedown. Okay, so I did my stuff, did my sprawl, separate, those hands go down, post block, come around, score. You guys remember that post block? Just get in the habit of doing that. So when we practice this, we're almost out of time. We'll just start right here with our opponent. Okay, and I'm gonna go stuff, sprawl, separate, score. Boom, 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 boom. Okay, and so that'll kind of help you too visualize, even when we're practicing the sprawl without a partner, why we're doing it and what it looks like and why it's not this, right? I'm not kicking my feet out like a donkey, right? I'm just sliding them out, boom, smashing those hips heavy on, okay? So let's work on that. We'll get a couple reps in. We'll go a couple 1-minute matches and we'll call it good. So find a partner, spread out. Let's just get 3 or 4 good sprawls in. Stuff, sprawl, circle, separate. Score.
Do you want to go?
I'm getting a ton of time. 1, 2. We're almost there. Come on, good job. Let's keep going here.
Alright, so the practice right? Is that
It's gonna be like a shot.
So just start. Remember, you're just gonna start like this
Underneath you.
with your partner. Go ahead, like
Yep.
you're already in on.
So you're gonna take a shot and you're gonna have your head to the side, just like you want. Take your hand like this, shove it underneath you, and then just all your weight on her. Yep. And then you're gonna separate. Back. Yep. Put your back now. Spin behind. Walk out of your way. Got one arm gonna come up.
Now, she was still holding on. Now you're
Yep. Sprawl. All the way. Now keep.
I'd be like, yeah, go ahead.
Let me sprawl.
Hey, there you go. Hey, go down underneath. There you go. Stand up. Grab his legs. Put your head on her hip. Get your head up, silly. There we go. Now she's going to sprawl, stuff, and squash.
You get hurt. It's almost worse than going slow. Everybody's trying to hold up.
Hey, hey, real quick. You guys are, and I know it's different when you first start wrestling, but you guys are going to have to get comfortable putting your weight on people, being aggressive with that, right? When I'm stuck and I'm trying to get it kind of in between my hip bones here, okay? I really want that head underneath here. But some of you are doing still kind of your butt out. You're just too not, and that's a lot of new wrestlers do that. They don't understand. I'm trying to smash this person. I want all my weight on them. I know you're friends right now, but you got to think you're wrestling somebody who's not. So if they try to grab your leg, you got to make them pay for it. by really smashing. That means the bottom wrestler, you gotta be prepared. Somebody's gonna be dropping the thunder on you to brace yourself to hold on. So you're ready. So yeah, as you stuff this in, you're gonna kick back into that position like you skydiving. Yeah, go right there. That looks good. I don't know. Your leg goes in where? Yeah, you don't want to let your feet touch. You want your toes to go.
I know.
Yeah. I don't know. It's something to type of practice, so it feels normal, right? All this stuff feels weird right now. It's a lot of weird units. So go ahead and switch. Go ahead and get it on. So you're gonna stuff and sprawl. Good. That's fine. Don't worry, you're not gonna hurt. You gotta learn to feel that anyway, right? That was good. That's what you want, right? Like all those other steps with that's like a. They just fall like that. You're gonna go around your joint, right? That's an ideal situation. Good. Sprawl back. Now get around behind her. Go around behind her.
I mean, throw your legs back. Sprawl.
So, Tony, this is going to be a good point for you. You want these back?
Good.
Yes.
Your opponent's going position to get this down.
My short legs.
This will be a lot of matches until you get more comfortable with what you're attacking. Hey, fine. All right, so hey, listen up. We'll go a couple of partners here, maybe 3 partners, like 1-minute matches. We'll just wrestle for a minute, right? It'll be live. You're trying to hit each other, you're trying to stab your back. But one point about that sprawl, right? And what we're working on with this counter offense, when you're starting out wrestling, this is gold, okay? It's going to take a while before all this penetration. Those are kind of technical. It's going to take time before that becomes comfortable for some of you, okay? When you're starting out, if you can just stay in good position, if you can hand fight, and you can get a good sprawl, go behind, you're going to win a lot of matches, right? And especially it's kind of an even playing field for the most part. There's going to be some club girls, but there's just not that many in high school right now. It's going to be a lot of, you guys are all kinds of the same. Actually, you guys all have a head start over a lot of competition because you're getting some mat time in. But if you can just stay in good position, hand fight, and learn a good down block sprawl, go behinds, you're going to win a lot of matches. Your opponents are going to kind of get frustrated or just kind of get impatient, and they'll take a bad attack on you. And if you can just stay in good position, be ready to sprawl, right, and score from there as you're starting out and getting comfortable. I'm telling you, when I coach middle school wrestling, right? So I get a bunch of newcomers every year that don't know anything. And we start with that, and we win a lot of matches just on holding good position in our counter offense. Until, eventually your offense is going to come, right? But don't think you just have to do wrestling. I got to get out there and start diving at some of these legs. Go ahead and try it. That's how you're going to learn, is to try it. Don't worry about it if you don't get it. But I just want to make that point. Out of everything, that we're going through, and I'm throwing a lot at you. Positioning, hand fighting, and the down block sprawls, and then just all sorts of go behind. I work on that front headlock over and over and over. Lots of ways to score from the front headlock. You'll win more matches. You'll be successful at it, okay? So, with that said, let's get going. We're going to be a couple minutes behind. Beat your partner. Let's get some wrestling and some live wrestling, okay? So it's time to scrap. Let's remember what we're working on, right? I can't. Spread out a little bit. Let's have you go through the middle here. All right, hey. We'll go a minute. We'll go 3 partners here. First one, ready, wrestle. Get her down, get on top. Oh, nice sprawl. There we go. There you go. Stuff her head, stuff her head. Good job, moving around. Keep it sweet. You guys do it. Yeah. You guys interested in MMA? Say hello, guys. Hand by push and pull. There we go. There you Move each other now, move each other around. Hey, belly out. Good, good.
Build up your knees, Ev. Hands and knees.
10 seconds, 10 seconds. 3, 2, 1. Time. Hey, find somebody new. Let's do one more. One more part. Find somebody close to your side. Couple deep breaths. You guys want to switch it up? Let's be careful, okay? So be kind of careful, okay? Because she's a little smaller. Okay. So if I put these guys in the corner with you, and you can just kind of say, hey,
Yeah.
careful. Why don't you guys come over here? It's kind of in this zone, right? I'm just scared of the girls. They're kind of flying around there. I don't want you guys to get trampled, but we're gonna have a little 4-way round robin. So just remember, be a little careful with my little here. You guys just go at it. All right, got one? I got one? All right, get your stance. So everybody get low, Remember those lines of defense, head and hands, right? We don't want them to touch our legs. We don't want to have to use that sprawl. Ready? Wrestle.
Okay, spread out.
Now go back to your position, right? Push, pull, hand fighting.
You bigger girls, go a little easy. Let them work some moves.
Good. You push, you pull, you snap it. The inside control. Remember, you always put the inside. Yes. Hand fight inside. Hey, all right.
Try to roll your belly. Belly out.
There you
Your
go.
belly.
You got take down, but you're coming back.
Yeah.
Here we go. You
You guys
strap in
are
here.
quite a bit bigger than that.
Time.
Good job, man.
Hey, I think that's good. All right, give your partner a high five. Something for the scrap. Hey, let's just walk it. Let's just take a couple laps walking. Hey, you gotta focus on your breathing. Get your breathing back down. You'll have these little breaks and matches. You're gonna be exhausted. You just gotta figure out how to get your breathing back down. Calm your mind. Good job. Good scrap. Nice deep breaths.
It is way more fun.
Yeah.
Good.
Yeah, you want to motion. Anything circular motion and forward motion. There, you don't want to move it backward. Oh yeah. Even when you get taken down from that, you never want to stop. You want to, if you're on the bottom, basically trying to go back up to the base, into the space, and then work and stand up. If you're on top, you always want to try to work.
Hey, good job. Hey, let's break it down. Get out of here. Clap it up.
Half Nelson, wrist control.
Don't be so Jordan. Then you charge
Constant. Oh, yeah.
We'll get that in next week, I'm sure. She was napping. Don't mess with that. Don't you dare bring her in here. Wake her up from her nap. Bring her in here. So,
10 seconds.
hey, good job again. Every week I was telling my wife and some of the coaches, this is probably the practice I coach about 7-8 practices a week. This is probably my favorite one, I'll be honest. It's just so cool to see. And just, you guys are just here, there's no messing around, everybody's engaged, listening, learning, and it's just exciting. So I just can't tell you guys enough. I barely know you guys. You guys keep showing up, doing the work, and it might not make sense now, but you're gonna get your hands on somebody in November who doesn't know a stance, who doesn't know how to move their feet, and you're like, okay, that was worth going there. This is gonna make a difference. Okay, so just keep showing up. We got to keep going all the way through October. Get here as much as you can. If you know other girls that are gonna be wrestling, bring them up there too. Just help your team out, obviously, and just keep grinding. Let's break it down. Let's get out of here. What's the word, Daily?
Yeah, this will be the first year.
We're going like character word of the month. Maybe character word of the month. We're talking about it. What was it? Oh no. Integrity, right? All right, so. Jay, what's integrity mean?
I like it.
See, that's what wrestling character is all about right there. Integrity on 3. 1, 2, 3, integrity! Awesome stuff. Good job, bro. Good job.
Well, yeah, they can't start practicing.
Yeah, no, that's fine. Yeah.
But yeah, all they can do is preseason for this year until a certain date. Yeah. And that can't be any instruction. But he's not affiliated with a high school, so they can come here and work
Good
out
job.
and get instruction. But they
You
can't
guys
get
got good coach, huh?
Yeah, I do.
I was talking to Columbus about it. I've already committed to that.
Yeah, they can do anything here, but their high school coach can't be here instructing.
Yeah.
They've got weird rules.
Yeah.
And it's like 4 kids.
Actually went to
Some
driving school
stupid
here for me last year.
number, you can't have like more than 4 kids in there.
Like anything organized.
Yeah, because that's,
She's important.
Waiting to hire. You caught me off guard. I'm like, I'm thinking.
He told me to say hi.
You did great tonight. Let's get some
Also, my
stories.
driver's ed.
Yeah.
Okay, you told her you were coming up here?
Yeah.
The first time you played with us at Chimney,
Yeah.
the best Sharon at Michelle at
I'm gonna be up there subbing.
I'm
Can
good.
you be here now?
I don't know about it. I'm not training.
Okay, well, maybe I'll see. Give me the West Palm if you do. All right, see you. Have a good night. Thanks, trainer. Thanks, coach, man. Good stuff. Good stuff. I just throw them anywhere. We got, that's what Coach Steiger picks them up. Sprays them down. Yeah, thank you. Good job. Keep coming. Keep bringing them. We'll keep filtering them.
Shoes, lady. Let's go.
You sure you want anything? How many, I recognize
You got everything? I got your wrestling shoes and your socks. And I got your water bottles. That's all we brought, right?
Dude, I got my head like straight smacked down.
That's just Coach House never heard back. That's done.
Oh my God, that's
He's like 6'4", like sweet. And like not like unathletic. But he played center, thank God.
Yep, I'll be there.
So I don't take watch. Maybe do I
Good. I told her this. She said she wanted to. You want to bring 10.
That's easier. It's just WWC 365.
Okay.
Like 365 days a year. That's the location.
Okay.
But that's fine too. If that's easier.
To bring 10 next week or.
If that's easier, whatever you want to do.
Okay, I can bring 10. Okay.
You look like a trustful young lady, so. Yeah, no problem. We're not,
Okay.
you know, we're not worried about it.
Okay.
Just want to get your report card.
Yeah. Just gotta, we'll keep your report card at the end of the year. What
Okay.
school are you from?
I live south.
Oh, okay, good. Yeah. That's good.
We had our homecoming last night, so I'm the only one today.
Oh, yeah, that's understandable.
Yeah.
I get it. Well, make sure they get back up here next week.
Okay, I will.
All right, we'll see you. Homecoming. Jack went last. I think his was last week. He went. He went stag. He's a little bit scared of